GBs to the front. I am your host, Alessia Janae, and who are we calling? We are today calling out people who wear masks. So on the episode 9, this will be called Unmasking the Mask. And why I chose the mask? Because, as y'all know, earlier this year, I have been breaking down every episode and kind of paying homage back to the 90s. And one of my favorite 90s movie films, The Mask, starring Jim Carrey and Cameron Diaz in The Mask. We're going to break all of that down. And I know it's been a while since you've seen me, but hey, you already know your girl's a working girl, and I am back with episode 9. And to complete this year 9 with all the things, and we're going to get into everything to recap 2025. Here it is at the end, December 31st of 2025, into a new year starts. So I just want to say, how have you been, GBs? How have your mental been? Well, as for me, I can say honestly, it's been very much so hard working for me. And I say that to say this because as much as I like to continue and be consistent, things happen, life get the life in, and I'm just here to tell you guys that no matter what you do, how you do it, long as it get posted right. Because I was just telling my videographer, like, I'm sitting on content, and baby, sometimes it's a struggle to like wake up on certain days, and you just want to just sit in the bed and relax, rest, reset, and get refocused and realigned. And that's okay. So I'm just here to tell y'all, okay, you may be sitting on content like me, but the key thing is to be consistent. And I've been kind of like even though it's not like me on the podcast, but I kind of share some of the things like going out, enjoying myself, going on solo dolo dates, and going to certain events and networking with other people. So I just want to bring to your attention that today we will be unmasking the mask because I want y'all to know, GBs, and yes, I'm looking at my cards because I want to say shout out to Stephanie Spear from episode 8. I want to just give her a round of applause. Like, that episode really gave a lot of relatable stories to CNAs, RNs, nurses in the healthcare field. I want to just tell you guys, like, mental health is real, and how CNAs are being portrayed on the job. It's like, I was just telling somebody the other day, like, moving dead weight people mentally, physically, it takes everything in you. And no, I'm not a full time CNA. I just do it on the side, like it's one of my hobby jobs. But it takes a lot of energy, so it just like I had to dedicate that specific, episode to the CNAs because I know what it's like to be a full time CNA when I were a full time CNA. And she also has shared her experience. And I just want to say that we got great views on YouTube. Shout out to YouTube, all the people that check those out. And I want to just say we're doing much numbers on TikTok. Very much so doing numbers on TikTok. We are currently at 4.2K views, 480 plus likes, and 43 comments, 51 shared to their favorites. on TikTok, like, and the numbers just keep going up. So I just want to say, people are really starting to pick up on my algorithm on social media. So as I talk about posting and constant, like, I was so shocked to even see that the numbers had jumped from 100 views to 4.2K, and that's very much so, like, very dear to me. And I'm so grateful and thankful for all you guys that are watching the Grand Talk podcast, do its thing, and just, I'm letting y'all, like, really take a deep look into the life that I live, and this is what my day to day looks like. So I want to say my most viewed solo podcast from this year was episode 7, and that was the one I came back from a very long break. I was in the blue dress with the feathers. And that was my first time wearing a wig. Y'all, why y'all didn't tell me those lace front wigs like leave like little bumps, like the edge of your hair, like that was just so. I shout out to those who wear wigs on a daily, cause I couldn't do it. Had y'all told me, like, you'll bump up, like, that's not cute. Baby, the pain that women go through, that is a child. Like, that was an experience. But I say I am now at 139 views on YouTube. That episode alone. Like, yes, clock it. And I want to get into, before I get into all the things and recap in 2025, child, we is deep in December. And just to make a light joke, Master P is still running in place from Versus. With the Versus with Cash Money Millionaires versus No Limit. Nah, it's kidding. But shout out to Uncle P, Master P, Mr. Percy Miller. You know what I'm saying? Because if it wasn't for his good old throwback music classics, Mr. Ice Cream Man, and I will give in to all of what I think about the whole verses. So we're gonna get into verses and what I thought about verses this year, because the last time we had verses, I say that was what, a few years ago, something like that. Child, don't get me the line. But first and foremost, I want to conclude this year for those who are familiar with numerology when it comes to the year 9. That means in Chinese culture, it means you're the snake, where you like shed all your old mindset, bad habits, and you just want to get rid of, like, dead skin, dead weight, and you just want to, like, come into a newness, like a death and rebirth of your spiritual self and your physical self. People get in the gym heavy. It's, we pass all the holidays where you are eating and feasting with your family and your loved ones, and you come up, people coming out with vision boards for a new year. So year 9 and 9 is completion. 9 is completion, and 10 is next year. So it's like it's the new beginning. So it just like everything that you dealt with that has not helped you to evolve, you want to go ahead and release, let go of certain people and things. Let me tell you, let me repeat that. Let go, release certain people and things, because people that wear masks with you, they can't be real with themselves. They don't even know who they are. But once you know who you are as a person and what your purpose here on earth, and I'm going to get into some things that I've experienced personally, and whether it's no tea, no shade, or how anybody takes it, you should know why you taking what I'm saying the wrong way, because you still need to work on you. It has nothing to do with me. So, you know, this episode was supposed to have been done back in October for Halloween, Unmasking the Mask. And but I understand when God wants you to be patient. You know what I'm saying? Things happen in divine timing. And I was more grounded. I was more grounded, humble. I was, showing up for other people what they got going on and their endeavors, and, pushing their algorithm out, helping them, get to a certain place and point and whatever they got going on. But what is so behooving to me is that if I reach out to you and I don't hear nothing from you, and I see, like, first and foremost, we all have a lot going on. We all have a lot going on. I have a lot going on. And during our storms, we still got to push through. Like, we got to push through. And when you have real, genuine friends, they will push through for you. You know what I'm saying? They still be cheering you on while they're going through their storm and you going through yours. So, with that being said, if I'm like kind of reaching out to you, and I'm saying don't worry about it, or you got this, or what I'm saying, keep going, like helping them in their mental health, and then it's like, who's there to help you out when you're being strong for somebody else, whether you still got to be strong for yourself. So I don't want to put my friend business out there like that, but one of my great friends, like she's been through a lot, and I'm, like I said, I'm not putting her business out, but her restaurant, Rising Haitian restaurant in Charlotte, North Carolina, someone burglarized her equipment to her restaurant, stole equipment from her food truck. And I just want to say, I'm going to leave her cash app below. So if you would like to help her out, with preparing some of the things that she need. I know we all need somebody sometimes, and sometimes we all don't have money to help the next person. But I want, if you can, just send her a cash app, you know what I'm saying? And she just lost one of her aunts, passed away not too long ago, so she's been going through a lot. So even though she and I don't really talk like that, and when she need anything, I'll try to be there for her as much as I can, and just me kind of like pushing that out there, because like I said, she has a Haitian restaurant in Charlotte, North Carolina, and January 1st is the Haitian Independence Day. And, so she has some equipment to continue on putting or taking orders, let me say, taking orders for, her restaurant to, keep her going, I'm saying, to keep her motivated and to keep pushing forward, because you just never know what God can have for you. What out of her storm, I just cannot wait to see what God does for her and her family. So she has children, Christmas just passed, and it's a lot heaviness that she may not speak to me about, or speak vocally about on her social media, but you learn how to give people grace, and I just want to do that for my friend, because that's the type of friend I am, first and foremost. Like, but back to what I was saying, uh, when you use your discernment that people are not going to be there for you the way you show up for them, then it's time to release that person. It's time to You see them for who they are, so that means their mask has fallen off. And we're going to I'ma just always say this. Rather it may be stepping on some toes. But people gotta be exposed more than normal. And I'm not saying exposed publicly, but this has gotta be public because their energy needs to be exposed. So whether, like I said, if you take anything what somebody's saying the wrong way, know why you're taking it the wrong way. You need to start. People really need to start doing what they're supposed to do as far as healing whatever trauma and triggers that they deal with, but they choose not to. So you cannot make anybody to be on the same spiritual frequency as you. So with that being said, how you treat people is what you're going to get in return. What you put out is what you get in return. And as a Libra that rules justice and karma, you will get that. Whatever you put into the universe, it will boomerang around and hit you tenfold. So that's why I try to treat people the way I would like to be treated. So, moving along, it's time to reset and get refocused, guys. Starting off with January 2025 brings in TikTok. Like, who thought that TikTok was not going to be brought back around? We lost TikTok. What we gonna be on, like social media wise? How we gonna do this? Listen, like I never really was the type of person that was deep and in depth on TikTok like that. In doing, like, I would do TikTok dance challenges here and there, but not like every day or going live on TikTok, like like the norm. And baby, I don't know what it was, but I'm glad they brought it back because I done learned some things about TikTok, like when people go on battles and sending gifts and sending you know coins and all that type. Like, it is low key fun to see and fun to watch, especially our favorite entertainers in the industry to get on live and well, anyway, I was gonna touch on some, but I ain't gonna do that. Not today. Not today. That's for a different episode. But anyway, shout out to was it Donald Trump that bought it back? The TikTok. So yeah, TikTok said, "Sight, you miss me." And now that we got TikTok back, like, people doing more challenges and coming out with more cooking recipes and going live and doing all the things and just figuring out how to support themselves and their families. And that's the way of the world now, especially dealing with social media. People that have to really get up and really make money for their families, what I'm saying, just being at home or just vlogging, or they're just how social media has come about. Like, I come from an era where social media was um like Black Planet, and we had MySpace, and back in those days, certain, like, the chat rooms and urban chat, and I can't remember some of the other things that I used to get on that was like so nostalgia to me. And moving forward, and I know I talked about 90s nostalgia, I'm gonna move into my early 2000s. So yeah, I'm like, what I want to touch up on is the nostalgia of the things we used to do back in the day, growing up in my era, in my generation. So I want to say too, February brought back bringing talking about February. Excuse me, I just had a little brain fart there. But February 2025, we had the Super Bowl. K. Dot he did perform the Super Bowl, and people did not understand the message that he was sending out. And we all know Kendrick Lamar is very much so pro black and everything, but he really showed how America perceives the black community. And with the X's and O's and the triangles, it gave Squid Games. And and if you remember the PlayStation, the old sticks, they probably still have it. I have not played the video game, and I can tell you how long, but I guess you can consider me to be auntie now. So I don't know. I'm going back to like Game Boy days. Like it gave like the controller. So it just like how America try to control the narrative and playing that game of And somebody asked, well, not asked me, but we were just talking at work, and they was like, I'm not supposed to live this type of life, and I already like automatically picked up what she meant, and I was just like, yeah. And she was like, no, I'm just not meant to or designed to work, get a job, pay bills, go home, go back to work. She said, this is just seems so unreal to me. Like I'm supposed to be doing something else. So what I told her was, well, maybe you're meant to do something else. But I'm like, I was talking to her. I said, well, a lot of people that have waken up to their true self, and they they kind of know what their assignment here on earth to do. And I don't want to go down a rabbit hole of things like that, because a lot of people may not get it, GBs. A lot of people may not get it, but it's up to us to kind of like fill them in without like somebody gonna just be listening and watching this and like, what is she talking about? So some people was sent to earth to be shapeshifters, to shift the culture and the dynamics of the control, because we all talk about politics and how the government control a lot of things in America. And eh, I'm not one to talk politics, but it just seems like every kind of conversation kind of ends up being political. So right now, I feel like in the new year, there's gonna be more um unanswered questions gonna be answered to whatever people are called to do. And traditionally growing up, you either dream to be a doctor, a lawyer, a nurse, a police officer, firefighter, did I say teacher, that sort of thing, like the traditional paid jobs. And now people are creating their own way, that their own careers, and they're making 6, 7, 8 figures off just being on the internet. So a lot of things has changed. So once you find out what your niche is, like, you will know what you are called to do, whether you called to speak or to sing, or what I'm saying, how you can raise your vibrations. And also, if y'all remember the viral New York woman, is it Onaja Robinson, that went to the Pakistan, that was uh marrying this 19-year-old teenager from Pakistan, and she did not want to leave the country of Pakistan because she was so hell bent on, oh, that is my husband. That's what she kept saying. And then when she found herself back to the States this year, um, from going to see him back in 2024, she became big as an influencer, fashion icon, what I'm saying? She's a fashion killer. Well, I ain't gonna say that. Fashion unaliver. Because this is YouTube. I'm not trying to get tagged or anything. So, but, like, she went viral. And I'm like, okay, like, people, we look for viral moments a lot on social media. And wanting to go viral has, if you can agree with me, it's sort of like a disease. Like people is just like, you want to go viral, but in this, like, do you want your 15 minutes of fame just for 15 minutes, or like what you trying to do? So it just like, wherever you come to that conclusion of how you can put yourself out to the world and be consistent with that, and then you gain people to support what you got going on, and that can relate to you. People, excuse me, people can put certain things out, but like, how can I say this? People can put like certain content out, like what's gonna get the algorithm of, people engaging, because I just feel like I just feel like engagement on social media is, you gotta be dramified or messy to actually get people to like gravitate to your page. And if it's not full of drama, and everybody isn't drama, everybody doesn't live to be messy, but that seems to get pushed out more in today's society. um I kind of want to jump back into hold on. I kind of want to jump back into talking about The Mask, the movie The Mask, because I can relate to The Mask at my big age. And I want to say some of the things, like, if people notice, like, all of the green characters from Disney, like, we talk about the mask is green. As you can see, before I get to talking about it, my background is green. My braces today are green. So green is today's color. I feel like Sesame Street. Today's number is 9. The good old Sesame Street, right? Didn't they try to cancel Elmo, y'all? Oh my God, how you cancel Elmo? Really? Elmo was every child from the 90s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. He was our spirit animal, like everybody. Like, you can't, you like, wait. Man, listen. Elmo got us through some things. He taught us how to speak, spell, write, the numbers of the he taught us everything. And not just Elmo by himself, but for some reason I had to talk about Sesame Street, and I'm speaking on green Disney like characters. And even though Oscar the Grouch, he was green, but he's not a Disney character. But it just like some of the green characters, excuse me, like they are painted to be a monster, wicked, you know, like a bad person, the bad guy, the bad girl, the bad guy, And I want to talk about the mask because the mask is green, and I'm gonna get into that in a little bit. Oscar the Grass was green. Who else? Shrek was green. He's an ogre. They feared him because who he was, but he actually was a nice ogre. Um, who else? The Hulk, the Incredible Hulk. Even though he was a mean green machine, he was actually a superhero. He saved lives. You know what I'm saying? So with the color green, I always refer back to the chakras, which is representation of the heart chakra. And with that being said, like people, when your heart is being, activated, that means you're open to loving yourself first, and then loving others. And then green brings in abundance, money, finances, you know what I'm saying? The green leaves on the tree, you know what I'm saying? Money trees, it make you think of that sort of thing that kind of like shed more light to that. And then grass, how things grow and fertilize, you know what I'm saying? So it just like all the things green, like don't nobody go green no more. Like they killing the trees, they killing nature now. They're building the townhomes over our good green grasses, cutting down our trees and cutting down the trees, and I'm just like, where are the kids gonna play? What happened to having a big front yard? What happened to having a big backyard and just rolling in grass? Like I remember growing up in the 90s, and I was a tomboy, and I used to have grass stains in my pants, and I'm like, dang, my mom, she just gonna she gonna get me for messing up my pants for rolling around in the grass. Like children don't play in grass no more. Like they don't. Like once I start having children, they're gonna do everything that I've done. And not that I'm gonna make them, but I just want a child to be in a childlike mindset, and it's just I just want to take it back to that because it's like like am I the only one that miss having grass or seeing grass and trees and you know what I'm saying, tall, full, bulky trees. But anyway, like this is my rant for today because I'm like, I didn't like as many developments I've seen of townhomes, townhouses, like they building so close together, and I'm like, you could really tap your neighbor on the shoulder just by lifting up your window. Like I don't want to be that close to somebody. And that's just me. They might as well stay in an apartment. I'm just saying. But anyway, so I want to talk about Wicked Alphaba. If you have not seen Wicked Part 1 and 2, huh, you I just highly recommend that you go see those two movies with Ariana Grande and my girl Cynthia or Orvio. I never get names right, so don't charge it to my heart. Just charge it to my mind, my beat. But Wicked and Wicked for Good was so good, but I'ma say that for the recap. I'ma say that one for the recap. What's up, my grandmas and grandbays? If this video clip finds you, then you are truly turned into this episode. Thank you for supporting my podcast. And if you want to become a grandboo or grandbay, make sure you subscribe to my channel, like, comment below, share this video. And also, if you're an entrepreneur or just simply want to join as guests, you can email me with the link below to secure your spot. And stay tuned. And now you're back to this episode on the Grand Talk Podcast. How I can relate to the mask is there was one mask in this movie. One mask in this movie, y'all. And there is a difference in whoever put this one mask on and how their true personality came out once the mask was on their faces, right? And y'all know back in the day, like, you know, we used to have those, phrases where when people say, "Oh, you dropped something," you say what, and they be like your face, and they like pick your face back up from off the ground. But anyway, that's if y'all remember that, leave a pick your face up in the comments in the chat down below. But anyway, so it brought out your true personality, your true self once the mask was on whoever face. Because not only it was Jim Carrey that put on the mask and the bad guy, I can't think of his name in the movie, but Jim Carrey's dog. You remember he put on the mask and that was so funny. But I just rewatched The Mask not too long ago, and I watched it like 2 or 3 times. And all Stanley Ipkiss wanted to do was to be a responsible adult, but he had a childlike to him. And see, if you know Jim Carrey as an actor for all these years, he's always been childlike. Like, I don't know if he barely had a childhood or what his childhood was like, but I want to say I vividly remember him saying something about some form of mental issue that he was having, like growing up, you know what I'm saying, with his parents. I'm gonna have to like double back and fact check what that particular mental issue was. But he had a fun, bubbly personality, and whenever you believe in what you can do with the mask on, he did it. Like, whether it made him rob a bank, he knew how to like slither his way out of it. And to really get to the bad guy, to get the bad guy caught up. But he got him a bad, like when the movie first starts, it showed that um he was having issues with his car. And so when he taking his car to the mechanics, they couldn't fix his car so he can go out with his friend to the Who's Who club. And they end up giving him a even more broke down car. And after he had met Cameron Diaz, I can't think of her name right now, right off bat, but I try to base off on the characters. So when he met the lady of his dreams, as I should say, it it really like made him want to boss up. So it was just like he was broke. Like, he wasn't broke, but he had a job, but he didn't have as much money as the lady he was interested in, what she was accustomed to. So it was like he was trying to impress her, and his friend kind of left him hanging outside at the club, if y'all remember when it first come on. So with that being said, he had a crazy night. He had driven to a river. He found the mask. And once he put that mask on and he was able to believe in whatever character he wanted to bring out, because you like he was accustomed to a lot of cartoon characters. So he made himself into cartoon characters, you know what I'm saying? He went to the club, he had a limousine pick him up and everything, and he was throwing money, you know what I'm saying? People picking the money off the floor. Like, he was really like bossed up at this point with the mask on. And so As the movie goes on, he found out through the grapevine that the bad guy was trying to really like control. So as y'all remember, I said something about control earlier. So he wanted this bad guy to be seen as the bad guy, because the bad guy later on in the movie, when he put on the mask, it showed the monster in him. It showed that he went back to be revengeful and to get back at the guy that he was working for, because he was working for somebody that was controlling him. So he went to the club that the boss that he was working for, and he pow up the club, you know what I'm saying? And he said something about getting uh he asked the Dorian, what are you doing here? The boss, the old boss, he said, um, am I getting back pay, or this is gonna be payback? And he just started, you know what I'm saying? He started pound up the club like a whole, you know what I'm saying? like you know what I'm saying? Like he was, what's his name, Scarface. So anyway, I know I'm kind of like all over the place. Again, forgive me. I'm just trying to prove this my point. Like when people that are wanting to have more control over others, or you know what I'm saying? How can you create a hostile work environment like that? Like within yourself, like, you know what I'm saying? People like my key word today is go heal that. Go heal, child. Good. Like goodness. Like please go heal it. Please. It's needed. Like there are a lot of dark entities that are on, like, walking amongst us in the on this realm, and they don't want to heal. And is it your fault? No, it's not. Is it their fault? Who knows and who cares? But you gotta just give people like that grace. Kind of, it's kind of hard to try to stay away from certain people like that, but it just like once you elevate spiritually and evolve spiritually, their attacks cannot weigh you down, cannot bring you down. You probably don't even feel the attacks once you have gained a new perspective of people that have such a dark spirit over themselves. You know what I'm saying? Because whether, you know what I'm saying, if it's a whole, you know what I'm saying, type of entity or energy that pushes, like, triggers and project onto others, 9 times out of 10 they don't care who they hurt. Like that saying say, hurt people, you know what I'm saying? So with that being said, to close on my relation to the mask, I'm always trying to say today, like the good mask, like Jim Carrey. And people tell me a lot how I have a bubbly personality, but it just like sometimes, like I said, people got to be exposed for who they truly are. And even though they wanted to pin Jim Carrey to be the bad guy, but he had to get with his dog. Like, dogs are smart, and people may talk down on your pet animals, but your pet's gonna be there. They gonna ride with you. You know what I'm saying? And that's what his dog Milo did. Milo was not playing about his dad, like his owner. He was not about to play with him. He beat guys in the behind and all of that. Like, he didn't play. But like You just gotta know how to maneuver and how to move from dark entities that's trying to frame you, you know what I'm saying? Because people would, like, pin things on me, and you know what I'm saying? I know I don't try to hurt or harm anybody else. And if you can relate, you can relate to what I'm saying when I say this. Like, people try to fault you to be the one or be the bad guy when you're not the bad guy, but when you expose the bad guys and you get the reaction, like, you know what I'm saying, when people like project passive aggressive onto you and try to explain who they are, like, I'm not this, I'm not fake, I'm not this. But if you cannot be the type of person to take accountability, like, excuse me, who you are again? Are you wearing a mask? Your mask is falling. Yes. You just got exposed. And how you expose people, you got to learn how to communicate in a way, because my issue before was I would let things slide and just detach and not speak to somebody. But now I'm going to hold you accountable. And I don't have to go and make myself feel validated. But if I'm like feeling a way, like you make me feel some type of way, I'm gonna express that to you, and I'm just gonna go down what happened, what led up to me saying, "Listen, you hurt my feelings. Oh, you disappointed me," or you know what I'm saying. If that was the case, if you, you know what I'm saying, can't communicate with me, then don't take that up with me. You can't be mad at me because I called you out. Be mad at yourself for not taking accountability for what you've done to me. That's another one. So, March 2025, Marvin's out. Close the doors. Close them doors. Close them. And I was like, wait a minute. Ain't he a preacher, pastor, gospel singer? Close the door was crazy work, y'all. And I'm like, at first I was like, now y'all see why I don't go to church. You not gonna close the door with me because, first of all, I'm claustrophobic. And I'll be like, what, who, where? Marvin, I still like your collection place. And then run out the door. Cause baby, if like, church folks, they don't like for you to talk about their pastor, boy. Even when they don't hold their pastors accountable. But that man that I just knew that Marvin Stamp is not like to be swallowed like TD Jakes. I mean, he's not twerking on stage like Kurt Franklin. They just giving black pastors a bad name. And I'm just like this type of person. I don't care what you believe in, but close them doors, close the doors. He remind me of the fake pastor from Don't Be a Menace While Drinking Your Juice in South Central. And the pastor was like, nigga, get around that side. Nigga, get around that side. Y'all remember that? And he was asking the congregation to send more money. Like, why? When did pastors start to be just so money hungry? Like, what happened just delivering the word from God and just being a man of God? Like, what happened to that? Like, that's religious people for you, honey. Close the doors, okay? That and it wasn't just him. Child, recapping 2025 was crazy work. And let's see here what we have. May 2025 kicked out the P Diddy trial, and yeah, we all know what that verdict came out to be. like even now, just like TMZ, like getting photos of what P Diddy is looking like in the feds. I, um, did he get gray so fast? I know they don't probably have like hair products to where you can dye your hair or whatever the case, but baby, he is salt and pepper with no Spinderella, what's her name? Yeah, he is salt and pepper down with the gray and the black hair and on the mustache and the goatee and the hair. Like P Diddy got real old real quick. Baby, I guess that's what happened when you detox from all the drugs and the baby oils that you got to put down. You know what I'm saying? You go start looking like your age. But even people in his age don't even look old for their age. Like a lot of people in their 50s and don't look good. You know what I'm saying? But hey, but hey. And then, child, honey, July, and I'm going to get into this a little bit. No more BMF. 50 Cent said, what next season? The Meechies. The Meechies and the Instagram back and forth. Like, y'all, I was not prepared for that because I was like, dang, like I felt like they had another season or two, but baby, 50 Cent said once you show any signs of disloyalty to me, it's off with you, your children, and your children's children, and everybody else. Like I hate that some people, you know, that was working alongside Lil Meech that, they had to not close the doors, but they had to like close the curtains, you know? But hey, I understand. I mean, I see things on both sides of the coin. Like, uh, yeah, that's your enemy, but like, why do I have to only be your friend? But I understand 50 Cent when he like, this is my enemy, this is my op, and you posting up with my op, like they gonna make me automatically think that you are an op, and I get it. I get it. Um, September of 2025, Cardi B drops her new album, Am I the Drama? And that was just in the nick of time for Libra season, baby. Let me tell you, like, me personally, I enjoyed the new album. It's been 7 long years since she put out an album, and a lot of her fans was looking for new music from her. And baby, not only did she drop an album, she had a whole new baby. And after or before she had given birth to her baby, her Nikki, like, that was like the first female. Well, I ain't gonna say they always had some sort of beef or whatever. I never know where beef really forms from. Like, is it a PR stunt or is it a real beef? So, you know, people was Team Nikki, Team Cardi, like they was just going back and forth and hitting below the belt. And I just feel like as grown women, like including the children, is so distasteful. And rather who started what, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the more heat that black women get in America, like, where is the line where you just gotta just paint and just say, hey, look, this is where I draw the line. You know what I'm saying? You got it. But you know what I'm saying? When first of all, like as a healed Libra, I feel like, you know, considering like Cardi B, like at that particular time, if Nika was coming for your music, that'd have been more promotion for you. Like, thank you, girl. You know what I'm saying? Thank you. Send more streamers to listen to my new album. You know, to go buy the album, cause she was, you know, doing the vinyl CDs and everything. Like, you know what I'm saying? She was doing all the chops. She had the record player, the vinyls, the CDs. Like she promoted that thing like it was, you know, she promoted very well about that album. But anyway, so I'm just like, girl, I would have been thanking Nikki for thank you for really telling my fans how to say their ABCs, girl. Please go listen to my music. And I would just dropped and left it at that. It shouldn't have been drawn out for a whole week or two. That was the longest shortcut lived beef online, being petty, going back and forth. That was my whole thing about the whole Nicki and Cardi B's beef. Like, I ain't no Barb, I ain't no, you know, Stone Cold Nicki fan, but Nicki and the Barbs, boy, they something. They something else. I tell you that. Some gonna stand by us, some not. And with this last, yeah, they people don't know which way to turn to be a barb. I don't know what's going on with the barbs. And you know, as we all know, October Diddy got his verdict of being in the feds for another 4 years. And people was wishing that he got more time than 4 years, and you know, so yeah, Diddy. Uh, coming to the verdict, like my opinion, I think he should have got more time. And despite of which, you know, the victim, like I said, was it episode 7? It was, I think. I just feel like some of the victims weren't really victims, and I understand that, you know, certain things or like was left out because like after watching the documentary from The Reckoning, like I'm like, why 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 are people saying things now like that could have helped the trial to convict him more, like if he done such horrible things to you and you got footages that made some of the documentary of The Reckoning. So that's why I'm saying I feel like now he, you know, should have got more time when people got hard evidence of, you know, some of the freak offs. Like, that's just my opinion, you know. And I can't say allegedly because this is what somebody put out, like the little Rod guy. Like, he had the footage of him waking up and sometimes to be women in bed with him, and he sometimes look over P. Diddy in the bed, and then he said his whole uh butt be so. So I'm just like, why would why was that not taken on the stand? That's kind of like backwards to me. Like I just, you know what I'm saying? And people that was taking up for Diddy or saying like why kicking a black man while he down, but I'm just like some of the things that he was convicted of, like what you mean why kicking this man while he down? I don't listen. I don't condone any bullying or harassment over here. And from someone that's been in an abusive relationship, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, that leaves the victim with nothing but trauma. So yes, you guys to get what you deserve, and you know what I'm saying, judicially wise, like for real, like that's like okay, people do crime every day. They get the book thrown at them. 25 years to life sometimes. But I mean, if Diddy can do four, then he can do four. Well, he's already done 1 year, so you know it is what it is. So, and here we are, November. As the recap of 2025, the government shut down. The government shut down right before Thanksgiving, and that's another way to control people and families that you know living on government assistance, whether it's the elders that you know that are retired that get Medicaid, Medicare, you know, they was without, and some of us has you know to help that family member and kick out, and it was a struggle. I mean, granted, if anybody's used to how it feels to be in survival mode, it just like how can you let little children starve? How can you let a 90-year old grandma that can't really like do anything for herself and she's looking for her money to come on the first or the third to go grocery shopping with no money? And as independent as the elders they want to hang on to be dependent, that's I meant to say to be dependent. I mean not dependent, independent. Excuse me, y'all. It's like 8:30 at night. Please forgive me. But as independent, cause you know what I'm saying, they feel like so much has been taken away from them. So when they retire, they want to retire and relax, not retire and still be in survival mode. That's crazy. But I'm so glad that the government got back up and running right before Thanksgiving. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like how, like I said, people that wear masks and try to control, trying to manipulate the situation. It just like you gotta know what type of devil or demon that you're dealing with and how to stay 10 steps ahead. So, you know what I'm saying? Once you hear something about like a shutdown, government shutdown, it's just like, hey, I need to get something done. I need somebody to help me to rack up on some, you know, some food that I can like stock my refrigerator up with so I don't be without when it's time for it to shut down. So, you know, I just I have, you know, I do have sympathy for children, the elderly, and you know people that you know don't have as much because as you get into your success stories, like you, I, I just not the type of person that forget where I come from. You should never forget where you come from. You should never forget why you started in the first place and where you were in that place, in that position, in that mind frame that you was in. And to get out of that type of poverty mindset is like, it's kind of like heartbreaking. But it just like, when I say heartbreaking, it's like, how can, if you don't do nothing for somebody else, you know what I'm saying? How do you think that God is gonna bless you to carry and to consistently be successful? Because we tend to forget that okay, just because you've been promoted and been successful in life, okay, you don't have to help nobody else. Cause sometimes you might need somebody too. Like, you know what I'm saying? People feel like, oh, I make enough money, I do this, I do that, but again, you don't never know how things could just, you could be at the top and then God will knock you all the way back down to humble you. So always don't ever forget where you come from. That's first and foremost. And with um December of 2025, this year, the end of 2025 is the documentary, the Diddy documentary. And I'm kind of just gonna like chime in on a little bit because I kind of like talked about this whole Diddy talk because that is like the topic of 2025 actually, because we didn't think that this hip hop mogul was ever gonna see jail, as people allegedly say that he did this, he did that. He was the reason why Pac and Biggie is no longer with us, anymore. And I always like, sometimes I would think like, where would Tupac and Biggie be right now if they was never like unalive? Like, I know that Tupac would have been the original 50 Cent. And when I mean this, when I say that to say this, because Tupac was already like hot in his prime, like musically wise, rapping. He had his own group, Digital Underground. He was signed to Death Row. He, was a movie star. He was acting. Like, he was already at his peak, and he probably could have had a show like Power, like 50 Cent. You know what I'm saying? He could have did some things like that. He could have been on his Spike Lee, you know what I'm saying? With the whole movie scene. Like, I tend to think like Tupac would have went very, very far in his career, and you know what I'm saying, and kind of like create jobs for the poor, because he always talked about for the poor. Like, you know what I'm saying? As I talk about the things that we, being accustomed to, like in the lower class, and the middle, like lower to middle class, you know what I'm saying, having to go through survival mode. So I already knew he probably would have helped the whole community. Well, he was already doing it, and he gave us words about, and encouraging us the real. He was real, raw, and uncut. So it just like, I mean, they say that Nipsey Hussle, he was that way too. I was never really a Nipsey Hussle um, fan per se, but I did enjoy his music. But I didn't really like get into Nipsey Hussle till after, you know, he was unalive. So again, I just wish that they had more time on this earth. And I was a whole. I can't say I was a whole big fan. I'm a whole music fan. Like, let me just say that, because if you know me, I've played music. I used to play a clarinet when I was like in the 6th grade. I still dance. Um, I was on a color guard my senior year in high school. So music was always all around me. So I've always listened to the most dopest like rap artists, R&B, pop, and everything. And as we come to a close in December, y'all, this is really gonna be very much so heartbreaking for me. Is MTV, like, even though I don't watch MTV, but it's just so sad to see that MTV last run is December 31st. I remember, watching MTV Yo Raps. And you know what? I'm going to back it up and talk about October, because I don't think I cover October. So October 2025, the verses with Cash Money Millionaires versus No Limit. I remember the first time I watched Back That Ass Up, and that is America's twerk song anthem. Play at your prom, play at your wedding, graduation. Um, Bet That Ass Up is played everywhere in America, and what you hear, doom, 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 doom. Come on, you already know it's time to get up and come with your back head, the back. I never knew understand what Juvenile be saying, but I always just like the song. But Juvenile was like my favorite Cash Money Millionaire, and I watched that video first on MTV before I saw it on BET. And you know, I love my Black Star Power. But like people would think that I was weird to listen to pop music as well because you know, I like I love music. I love anything with a good beat, great lyrics to live by, to you know what I'm saying, to relate to. I'm that type of person. Like I gotta give me grace. But like as I got older, like band boy bands, damn, that ate me the fuck up. Boy bands like NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, 98 Degrees, Blink 182, who else? Corn, Limp Bizkit, like those were the like Lynn and what's her name was Madonna. I listened to Madonna back like their old music. Oh my gosh. Y'all not gonna tell me that and we used to kind of like pin the boy groups like from the Caucasian boy groups to the black ones, but when it came to NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, it was always NSYNC for me. I can't like when, and I love Backstreet Boys, they got good songs and good nostalgia hits, but when NSYNC dropped Gone, baby, Gone is still my favorite NSYNC song because it was sounding more R&B than pop. I think that's why I liked it more, but it's okay. But anyway, back to the Cash Money and the No Limit, because as I was saying, who was I going for? I wasn't going for nobody. I just wanted to have a whole twerk session in the house and kind of reciting the lyrics on social media. And yeah, that was the thing to do. Like that's what I did when I was a child growing up, listening to Back That Ass Up. And then like the first song that I was introduced to Master P was Make 'Em Say that was my song. I don't know about y'all, but please leave in the comments what was the first song you heard from Master P and the first song you heard from one of the Cash Money Millionaires. And see, when they all was a group in Cash Money, my favorite Cash Money song was I Need a Hot Girl. And it was always Turk and Lil Wayne part. And I like Manny Fresh opening intro to the song, but Turk and Lil Wayne, hey, I like them hot, the ones that I tell me to stop, and they know how to fight. No, that was my song. But Juvenile was my favorite. I was a straight up Juvenile fan before I even really listened to Lil Wayne like that. That's crazy because Lil Wayne was the one that really like made it big out of everybody. He was the youngest. He was young, like young. And Juvenile, my favorite Juvenile song, I don't know. I do like She Get It from My Mama. I was looking for him to like sing that on verses, but like y'all, what made me mad about verses this year? They cut it so short, like it was only 30 minutes, and I'm like, how you do that? Because like y'all really just robbed New Orleans again because they already felt like Kendrick Lamar had performed at the Super Bowl, and they was like, "Why Wayne couldn't perform?" And you know, I kind of was like vouching for the Nola. I was like, "Yeah, let somebody from the Nola do like," and you know, but shout out to Switch Beats and Timbaland for verses, and you know, that was a good little run, but I felt like some of the music that I want to listen to, they didn't really get to perform the ones I was just like, oh my gosh, but like Master P and True, we all know Down for My Niggas was it's all the club theme song. Down for My Niggas with C Murder, you know, people free C Murder. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember when No Limit came out with the movie The Hot Boys, and they used to play a lot on BET. I didn't really see was it called Bottle Blocking with Cash Money? I never got to see their movie, but Hot Boys played so much in my house, like so many times. Like they had not only music, but they was also like doing film. So it just like to see them going ahead towards each other in verses. It was like they was robbed too much. Like they got robbed. Which, you know what I'm saying? I done said a lot of this. So let me get off into my GrandéStarz of the week, which goes to, it's two now, Manny Fresh and Juvenile, because from verses back like a month or so ago, they come up with their own podcast, and so far I think they've had 85 South, Finesse two times, and Bun B as their guest, and also Young Boy NBA Mom. She was on there as a guest too. And I've been watching some of their interviews, and they do great interviews. Like we get to see Juvenile talk. Like I ain't never seen this man like talking the interview, even like back in the day. Like I really love how their podcast called Still 400. The still come from Still Fly from Manny Fresh and Baby Birdman, and 400 come from Juvenile 400 Degrees. So shout out to them guys. Like they two OGs sitting down, just having men conversation, talking about the industry, talking about, you know what I'm saying, little parts of, you know, small parts of their lives, and kind of open up to the world, you know what I'm saying. And Manny Fresh, you know, he's a DJ. You know, I just realized that Manny Fresh, not only is he a producer, but he also DJs, and that's super dope. And Juvenile, he still can spit some fire rap freestyles, and you know, I may see his clip, his reels come down on my timeline on Instagram. Like he's still fire with that mouthpiece. But baby, I got that fire. I got that fire. How did the water when you want that Oscar Maya? And I'm showing my age. I am.
When my dogs out, once I go through the show, shit is real.
It was life changing.
It was.
We was just like, this dude is the truth.
I told Bird, like, bro, I was like, they say, man, we going on after them. I say, after them, DMX here? I don't want to go on after that nigga, man. I said, man, did you see what that nigga just did? That nigga cried, crawled, barked, prayed, And the audience was with him, I swear.
Everywhere, every step of the
Everything,
way.
the whole, I said, man, he got him, bro.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing we could do after that. I said, bro, I don't ever want to go on after them. We was just in
Yeah.
New Orleans and shit, and Houston, so they were like, man, we gonna go on. I was like, bro, I don't want to do that no more. Like, fuck that. That's torture. That dude
He
different.
really showed us the connection of what an artist could do.
And for this week's social media spotlight goes to 404 Black. And this is a content creator that I come across on Instagram. And he's a comedian, but you can tell he's so ATL because for one, his name is 404, which is like an Atlanta, Georgia area code. But he talks about the most nostalgic moments, from hairstyles to opening up your social study textbooks from elementary school to leaving pots of grease on the stove. Like he is very much so, like he hit it on the nail. Like he does it so perfectly.
When this nigga right here popped up in the social studies book, yeah, man, I was like, these folk full of shit, bro. They just playing in our face. Even as a kid, man, I knew something wasn't right about this nigga, man. These folk done put Tom Cruise, man. Like, bro, them folk playing in our face, bro. This shit ain't make no damn sense, bro. Like, I used to always look at this picture like, bro, come on, man. Who the fuck is this nigga, man?
And it's so funny because I'm like, dang, I remember we used to wear the hunts and the jersey dresses and everything. Then you would open up your social study textbook and you would see people drawing all in the book, drawing on people's faces, like in when they book. And listen, his content is super funny, yo. Like this dude, like I just want to, like I see what you're doing. He kind of commented on, because I had to laugh at one of, I can't remember what it was that I had commented on, but he kind of responded back to me. And I was just like, dang, like, that is so dope. Like, you know what I'm saying? The things that people come up with to build their content. And as I said in the beginning, you know what I'm saying? You got to be consistent. And he's always, up and down on my timeline, like, sharing some of the things that we used to do, like, growing up. Like, we gotten that old to where we just, like, reminiscing, because it's like, nowadays, we don't see like nothing that gonna stick with the new generation. Like the music is different. Like the drill music is so influencing the children to do like bad things, and they're harming each other, and joining gangs and you know what I'm saying, people just like these younger children, they need a real big homie. Like, who is y'all big homies now? Like, big homies back in the day, like, made sure, hey, I'm gonna give you this $5 to get you something out the ice cream truck, but you stay in school. Like, what happened to them type of OG big homies? Like, y'all not checking these children like they need to be checked. Like, they think they really grown out here. And especially those children from Chicago, like, that was just wrong with them children. Had kind of they gained that lady that was sick, that had sickle cell, and they gained her and her child, and to watch that, the footage, it was just so crazy to me. Like, like, oh my gosh, like, where the parents? Like, why we not blaming the parents, but y'all quit to blame these celebrities, and you know what I'm saying? Where are the parents? The parents need to be held accountable. And I've been saying this since the survivor R. Kelly. Why aren't the parents being charged for some of this stuff? That's crazy to me. That is so wild to me because never, and you got to think about the influence that's influencing these children's minds and what they watch and what they do, and then they watching grown folks do grown folks things and they feel like they can do it too, and no, like I grew up in the era where you had to stay in a child's place. Yes, you did. Or you would be picking your teeth up off the floor. And I want to say today is, y'all see me in my burgundy, and I'm just fine as wine today. And yes, I mentioned something about wigs, and I know how to bring a wig back. Get into it, because I didn't really do much with her, but I really like her. I like the highlights in her. So with what my attire today for fit check, she's doing what she's supposed to do. Clock it. I just wanted to say, y'all, my grande butterflies, my GBs that are watching, and I hope that I cover some of the things unmasking the mask, because we gotta hold people accountable and don't let shit slide, because people may say, oh no, this, I have a lot of going on. As I told you in the beginning, I have someone who has been going through a lot, and probably a lot of things that she don't discuss with me. I mean, people don't tell you everything that they have going on in their personal lives. I can only like vouch for what information is being given to me and what I can pick up on. And don't ever let nobody play with you. Don't ever let nobody think that they can play in your face. Because I'm like, how you have a lot going on, but you had a lot going on, but you still went to this event. You still had this event. So when it comes to me, and I see a pattern, I go by patterns. So the first time you didn't like reach out to me or communicate with me, you know what I'm saying? I just kind of fell back, like see what you rather do. And I'm a very great observer. I'm a very great observer. So when I see a pattern, I'm like, nah, that ain't it. And you ain't gonna play in my face. So I'm just gonna let you know what I picked up on from what I observed of you, whether you gonna accept what I'm saying to you or not. And I'm gonna tell you this: I never lost a family or friend or relationship that I needed back. Please know this: however long I've known you, or if we just not getting to know each other, once you create a pattern of dishonesty or anything negative or anything that's not helping me or anything that I pick up on your energy that is like a red flag for me, somewhere in between, you got to come to your senses and understand that, okay, this person ain't with that type of shit, and I just need to confess up or own up to it. Like I said, if I'm here to help you get through whatever you got to go, you're supposed to be reciprocal and do the same for me. And another thing too, I used to expect so much of others. So With that being said, closing out 2025, year 9, my heart is not being worn on my sleeve, but my heart chakra is being activated. And it's very much so closed off to people who don't uh, need to receive the abundance and love and opportunities to be in my presence, to be in my circle, to be in my soul tribe. You will be kicked the fuck out. And there's no remorse, it's no hate, it's no bad blood on my end because I have healed from that. I can forgive, but I will never forget how you make me feel. But Grande Butterflies, my GBs, I'm saying to you in closing, keep going, keep thriving in your life, keep being consistent. And if you're not consistent, you know, be consistent somewhere where you are able to um still show up for yourself. Still show up for yourself. Whether you like me right now and putting in the work, like I've been putting in the work. And this is my best. So this is what I'm giving to you guys today. And to take with you today and for the future. Please understand what I gather for the movie Wicked. Let me just say this because I want to touch on Wicked for good. The thing about Elphaba was that they saw that she was wicked. But Elphaba was never wicked. She did not realize. Well, maybe she did realize. She realized it, but when her emotions took over her, and when she got more like angry, her power, like how powerful she was, like it initiated for the like her spell to really like, you know what I'm saying, it's all about your intentions, what you put into whatever you believe in, and that's how you excel, that's how you succeed. And you know what I'm saying, people, and the I can't remember the elder lady name, but she was, I guess, the mistress of the wizard. She knew that about Elphaba. She knew that once Elphaba got mad enough and really put that anger and tension into her putting out what she believed and what she believed, that she wanted to use that to help do some type of ritual, a spell work, and it worked to get her to go see the wizard to do the spell work on the flying monkeys. And that was to keep the animals as animals and not for the animals to talk or to be human like. But I'm gonna say that for the next episode. I'm gonna uncover Wicked. But the only thing I did not like is that the truth wasn't put out there. The truth that she knew that the wizard was her dad. And if you hadn't seen the movie and I spoiled it for you, please go see it. But I will tell that. But she got her true divine masculine, which was the prince. And see, with Glinda, which is played by Ariana Grande, she didn't truly believe in herself. And she had been putting up a mask with the people in Emerald City and, the town that she was from, to make it seem like she had the spiritual gifts. And she probably could have had those spiritual gifts if she was to really believe. But since she wanted to be popular, it really showed that she wanted to be more like Elphaba. And once Elphaba discovered that she had a true love, the princess wanted that too. And she was low key wicked for turning the other cheek to Elphaba a little bit in the movie she did. But that sister of Elphaba, I could just beat her until she really don't have no more legs. That sister, cause the man that she was falling in love with, he didn't want her, and people gotta realize when you are not wanted by somebody, you people do love spells, and she wanted a love spell ritual done on this man to love her in the way she loved him, but he didn't feel that for her, and so her anger had the spell word for that Elphaba was doing to try to, you know what I'm saying, to please her sister. It turned the man into the Tin Man. And if you remember, the Tin Man, he didn't have a heart, right? Was the Tin Man didn't have a heart? He didn't have a heart. And for me to talk about green, so there you go, heart chakra. So, um, ladies, if you trying to keep somebody around, well, or a man trying to keep a woman around, if their heart's not in it, and you do any type of love spell, ritual, just know it can backfire. And once that person, it can work, but once that person wake up from their spell, that's when it backfire. That's when the shits get real. That's when the oops, yeah, you did it again. Come about and see what happened to Elphaba's sister. She was so hell bent on, oh, why you wasn't there for my father, but you know what I'm saying? She like, why would I go to the father funeral when that man didn't even like me? That man, and he wasn't even her real father. The wizard was her father. So it's just like, you was mad at Elphaba for what? But you lost your life because you was really wanting to gain a man's love, and then through control, he was a munchkin at first before he came the Tin Man. She, you know, controlled the narrative that he couldn't get on the train to go. I can't remember where he was trying to go to. I'm gonna have to rewatch it again now. He couldn't go on the train to transfer to. I think he was going to see the Wizard or something. I just gotta rewatch that little part because it's been a minute. I would go see it on Thanksgiving, um, at the movie theater. But anyway, so she was just, because she was the mayor. She was the mayor of um Emerald City. So anyway, she tried to control him so much with spell work, and she felt like since he was a munchkin, he had to stay back. Like, she wanted control. So again, enough with people trying to control the narrative. You only control your own narrative, and once you know you got those type of spiritual gain and powers that can't nobody can try to stop you or cause delays or blockages in your life to where you have to obey by them. And GBs, please understand, in closing, again, keep crushing your goals, make your vision boards, but people gotta realize, I was just thinking about this too. I need to start doing more vision boards, but don't tell nobody your vision. Don't tell nobody your vision. And I see a lot of people do vision board parties. But if you do go to a vision board party, don't put out your true vision, because do it at home. Do a vision board for home and do like a fun vision board. Like, okay, nah, nah. Just keep your vision to yourself. Because I seen a clip about Andre 3000. He said a friend of his told him not to put out the song Hey Y'all. And he says now Hey Y'all is played a lot and supported. So it just like don't share too much of your vision. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times people don't want your vision to come alive. Because people don't have that type of heart like you. And that's where I'm closing it at. So thank you for tuning in today, my GBs. Y'all be safe. Y'all be humble. Y'all also stay in the light. Because the dark is being exposed. The divine and God is not pleased with what's going on that people are trying to control. Bye. And happy New Year. Now, to see, I'm going to just say this before I close out. The real New Year's, the real ones that know, is April. The beginning of April. Okay, spring equinox. Yes, clock it. All right. Bye, GB.